Rabotai, one of my faults is that I'm a late person. I always come late. So tonight, Chazaq gave me the opportunity to speak to you here. I thought to myself, I have to come on time. So I left early. I live in Borough Park, 12 o'clock. I was out the door. More than enough time to get here. Ma'asa Kadosh Baruch Hu. I come to the BQE, middle of the BQE. It's not bumper to bumper, full standstill. It was a bad accident, full standstill for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I reminded myself two stories. One story I reminded myself that there was once a Rav that he used to go out to be Mekarev, Machzir b'Tshuvah, to bring people to Tshuvah. And he spoke a lot about Emunah. We have to believe in Hashem, believe in God, that whatever happens. And then he had a Talmud, a student, and he was traveling once. His student took him to speak somewhere, to a lecture. And what happened was there was a flat tire. And, it took time to fix it, starting to fix it. And the student sees that his rabbi is getting very nervous. So he says, Kvod Rav, what are you nervous about? So he says, what do you mean? I'm late to the drasha. I'm late to the lecture. Yeah, but everything is from Hashem. So he says, no, you're right. What do I mean to say? We all believe in Hashem. But, there's a story. There was the Rabbi Yitzchok Bistritzky, Rabbi Bistritzky, big tzaddik, big chacham, and he came back from learning Torah a long time. He comes back home. His father-in-law asks him, "What did you learn?" He says, "I learned that there's Borei Olam, there's a creator of the world." So he says, "You learned Borei Olam?" He calls in the maid. And he asks the maid, who created the world? Borei Olam Echad. So he says, she's saying it, and I know it. What happens is, from the head to the heart, there's a long distance. There's many things that we know is true, but we have to internalize it. They say this guy was once looking for a parking space. He had an important appointment. He's looking for a parking space. And 6 o'clock was his appointment. And he's going around the block one time, twice. Doesn't find his space. Says, Hashem, send me a parking space. 2 minutes later, he comes. He sees a guy moving out. He says, Hashem, I have one already. You don't have to send it. What I mean to say is we're all smiling at it, but we're laughing at ourselves. We all have to internalize. We have to be people, pnimi v'lo chitzon. Chitzon is external people. Pnimi is internal people. We have to internalize what we learn. If we look at Tishrei, Elul, Tishrei, Achagim, then that's the lesson that it teaches us. The shofar we blow from inside us. We don't even speak. When a person speaks, so part of it is the teeth, the tongue, the lips, and then the breath also. When you blow shofar, you're blowing from inside. That's coming to tell us we have to look what's going on inside of us. Every Jew has a fire burning in his heart. Every Jew has a fire burning in his soul, in his mind. He's a fire of Hashem burning in him. It's covered over by the Gashmiyut, sometimes by Chataim. If we do Averot, it gets covered over and we don't feel it. The Avodah of Tishrei is blow the shofar. We say, I don't know how it's by the Sfardim, by the Ashkenazim we say, Asayeti Mei Tshuva, Shir HaMa'alot Mimamakim. Do we say it here? What's mimamakim? From the depth, from deep inside. We call Hashem from deep inside. It's not only in us, it's everything. It's the way we look at the world. What do we see when we look at the world? We go into a business deal, we go into the grocery store, we go home. We have to internalize that Hashem Melo Kol Haaretz Kivodo. He is all over. Every smallest thing, the tiniest thing, He's there. He's here in the sukkah, He's at home, He's wherever we go. We just have to internalize it. I just thought of a thing. I mentioned Hashem at home. I once saw that the strongest a line can be broken very easily. A triangle is much stronger. It's the strongest geometric form is a triangle because it balances out. One thing strengthens its other. The same thing in the home of a Jewish home. If it's just a line, there's a man and his wife. Or same thing by friends. If you have a friendship with someone and it's just the two friends or a man and his wife or any relationship, then it's a relationship, but it could be easily broken. If you take in a third party, you take in Hashem, who's really the first party, and you take him into your relationship, then that's a relationship that won't be broken that fast. It's a relationship that will exist lenetzach. Mimamakim, from the depth of your soul, we have to cry to Hashem. You know, these days are the biggest days of the year. These days now even. Everything culminates, Hoshana Rabbah, Shmini Atzeret, we'll still talk about it. But what do we want in these days? You know, there's a famous mimer from Chachamim. They say that the whole avodah, the whole everything, the shofar, the fasting, Yom Kippur, everything is to get to Atarei Saladat, Ein Od Milvado. That's the thing. Ein Od Milvado means that in 3 months around, in the winter, and I'm going to go, whatever I do, I'm going to do business, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to learn, I'm going to daven, Ein Od Milvado. That's not only when we're holy roly in the middle of Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah. That's not the tachlit. Hashem put us on this world. It's a gashmiisdika world. It's a world. It's not a world of just being in Bet Knesset. It's a world that Hashem wants us to remember Him wherever we go, wherever we are. And our view of the world should be different. We have to have an internal look at the world, a different type of look. We should not see just the external, the chitzoniyot of the world. We have to find Hashem wherever and whatever we do. Yom Kippur, we fast. So the 5 tefillot, Arvit, Shachrit, Musaf, Mincha, Ne'ilah. The only time in the year. The only time in the year that we have 5 tefillot. So I heard that a person there's 5 chalakim of the souls. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. Everyone is at something else. But Yechida means a lashon from Yachid, from the only one. That's his batlut, oneness with Hashem. The neshama of a soul of a Jew is one with Hashem. You know, when the Kohen Gadol went into the Beit HaMikdash, is also lefnai v'lefnim, internal. He went internal. It's not only that he walked into the Kodesh HaKodeshim, it's the thought of it that he looked past the external part. He looked for Hashem and he found Him wherever it is. So that's why Ne'ilah is the lashon of locking. We lock ourselves in with Hashem. B'chol adam lo yiyeh b'vo'ol HaKodesh af malachim Katuv. Even angels couldn't be with the Kohen Gadol went in. Why? Because they don't have this madrega of yichida, this thing that they are one with Hashem. Only Jews have. Chelek Eloka Mimal. The neshama of a Jew is a Chelek Eloka Mimal. He's one with Hashem. That malachim don't have. Only Jews have. So even when you look at yourself, who am I? What am I? I'm not just a plain guy. I'm someone that's carrying me a yichida. I'm carrying a nefesh that's one with Hashem. And your neighbor also. You know, they say a story that one time there was a tzaddik and he never wanted to lean on another Jew. Even when it was pushy, he never leaned on another Jew. So he said, why? Because a Jew is a Sefer Torah. I can't lean on a Sefer Torah. So someone asked him, if a Jew is a Sefer Torah, you're also a Sefer Torah. One Sefer Torah and the next Sefer Torah you could lean on. So he said, the other Jew is a Sefer Torah. I don't look at myself as Sefer, the other Jew is Sefer Torah. But really, every Jew has to look at themselves also as Sefer Torah. You have to know, I'm a prince. I'm a son of Hashem. I'm a Chelek Eloka Mimal. I have Yechidah. Sukkot, the only time that we take water on the Mizbeach, always it's wine. What happened? Why are we taking water all of a sudden on the Mizbeach? Always Nisachim is always wine on the Mizbeach. What is water? Water has nothing in its own. Water, you put it into a red vessel, in a red keli, a red cup, it will be red. You put it in blue, it will become blue. No color. The same thing we Jews with Hashem. We are totally one to Hashem. His batlut, internalizing. Everything we internalize to Hashem. We see the inside of it. We see Hashem wherever we go. I once saw a story. There was the Baal Shem Tov had a grandson, Rabbi of Mezbush. And he had a small child that came to him crying. What happened? The child tells him, you know, I was playing hide and seek, and my friends didn't come look for me. I went and I hid, and my friends didn't come look for me. So he came crying to his father, his grandfather, whoever it was. So he says, okay, so he gave him a candy and he sent him off. And then he himself started crying. He says, what does Hashem feel like? He also plays hide and seek with us. Hashem created the world in a way that He's hiding. He's waiting for us to seek Him out. That's what He's waiting for. We have to look for Him. And we have to look for Him. It's a job that we're here for. That's the shlichut. That's the message and the messengers. We're messengers to look for Hashem on this world. He's playing hide and seek with us. How does He feel when we don't even look for Him, when we forget about Him? And He gives us everything that we have. And when a person comes to realize this, it falls off. No kinah. He doesn't have kinah because he realizes he lives with Hashem, he lives with God. So he's not jealous of someone else because he's focused on serving Hashem. He's focused that everything is from Hashem. He's not interested. You know, the Chatam Sofar, he says, Vayotze es amo Yisrael mitocham lecherut olam. So he says, Hashem took out Yisrael from Mitzrayim lecherut olam, for eternal freedom. So he says, L'cheirut olam means freedom of the world. A person is in jail by the social society puts him in jail. And what happens is, he has to get freed from that. How does a person get freed from that? If he connects to Hashem. When he connects to Hashem, he gets freed from the chains of society. These days are very, very... What time is it? To what time? It's 1:45, right? 42. Okay, just another couple of minutes. These days are the greatest days in the year. They say I heard a mashal that there was once a war between two colonies, and let's say king number one conquered the part of the land of king number two, and the Jewish city the Jewish city was in kingdom number two, but the cemetery was in kingdom number one. So they worked it out that if someone died, they should be able to go over the gavul and go and bury the mess. What did the Jews do? They needed to make parnasah, so they put in jewels and things that they had to smuggle over. They put into a coffin, into aron, and they made a levaya. So they put into aron, and they told the gavul, mishmar gavul, we have a levaya, a funeral. Let us go through. Okay, go through levaya. But after one time, two times, three times, they noticed the Jews aren't crying. They're not crying. What's going on? Usually by a levaya, funeral, there's crying, there's hesped. What's going on? They're too happy. So the next time they said, levaya, we have to go through. Okay, levaya, open up. They saw there was a bunch of, they were smuggling contraband. Okay, they called them up to the king, and the Jews, now they started crying. So the king told them, when you were supposed to be crying, you didn't cry. And now you're crying, you shouldn't be crying now. So Reb Chaim Brisker said that as a mashal, a parable. So he said, now is the time to cry. Hoshana Rabbah, Shmini Atzeret, we cry with joy, but we cry. We have to beg Hashem. If we're going to come 4 months around and something's not going to be doing okay, now's the time. Not then. Let's not wait for then. If we want us to go good for Klal Yisrael, for us personally, now is the time to put in the kochot. And they say there was once a king also, Mashal, there was a king that he wanted to know what's doing in the streets. He's a king in the palace, he wanted to know what's doing. So he disguised himself and he went out, and he went to, used to go into the poorer neighborhoods. And one time he sat down on a bench, and a guy comes down and sits down on a bench and talks to him. He didn't know it was the king. So he talks to him, what's going on, what's this, like that. Okay. A couple of minutes later, the king gets up and walks away. A friend of this other fellow goes over to him, you know who was sitting next to you? You didn't recognize him, it was the king. So he said, oh no, for so many things. So Rabbi Yitzchok Bistritzky says, in these days, Hoshana Rabbah, Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah, the king is sitting with us on one bench. Now's the time. If we want to talk to him, and really it says in Zohar it says that if anyone, Shmini Atzeret, we are with the king together alone. Klal Yisrael alone in a room, Kaviyachol, with Hashem. And now's the time, anything that we want to ask him, now is the time. Atzeret is lashon from asifah, from taking together, picking up. It says the Machnei Dan used to pick up all the lost items. It used to pick it up and be mekayim hashavat avedah, giving back. Now, ba'atzeret, now is the time we could pick up anything that we didn't pick up yet. Any faults, aveirot, things that we didn't, even Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, now with the simcha, we could pick it up. Anything that we want, anything that the king is together with us in one room, we can go back to him. Kaviyachol, we can give him a hug, the king. We have to leave off all other things. And remember, be people that are not external people, but internal people. Our view of the world should be pnimi v'lo chitzon. Chag Sameach v'shana tova, shana tova umtuka.